Hello, my name is Johnny Tsunami and welcome to the video. Today, I'm going to be talking about an aspect of mental illness that doesn't get a lot of attention or education, psychotic episodes. Sometimes, because of mental health stigma, psychosis isn't talked about because of how bizarre and absurd it can be. However, if you want to talk about mental illness, you have to talk about psychosis. A psychotic episode is when someone cannot discern what is reality and it can experience things like delusions, paranoia, and hallucinations. My psychotic episode started in November of 2024 and climaxed in September of 2025 when I went to jail. At the end of 2024, I was taking clozapine, which is known as the most powerful antipsychotic on the market. I was on 400 milligrams of clozapine, which is a very strong and potent dose. When you take the medication, you are supposed to do routine blood work because it can compromise your immune system. When I went to a psych hospital around Thanksgiving of 2024, it was found that clozapine had made my white blood cell count nearly zero. The doctor then made the decision to cold turkey me off all of the clozapine. As a result, I had a lot of anxiety and anger from withdrawing from such a high dose of clozapine. Even though the doctor kept me on other medication, the withdrawal from clozapine led me to have 20 days without regular sleep. I could nap an hour here or there, but you need about 7 to 9 hours of regular sleep over time to stay regulated. So when I was discharged from the hospital, I began to experience bizarre things. I started to believe the delusion that a friend from high school I used to like, that was in the military, was telling me through my thoughts that we were going to be together. Delusions are false beliefs that are typically bizarre and unrealistic, but feel incredibly real and truthful. So I was having paranoid delusions and love delusions, along with visual hallucinations, convincing me that my friend was going to come back. I believed that angels were telling me information and working with the government to get me and my previous friend back together. I had looked up this person on a background check website and created this whole false narrative that she had lost her family and was going through hell and high water to find me. After then, during a period of time where I did not sleep for 20 days, I experienced what I perceived to be a spiritual vision. I went outside while having all these delusions, naked, looking for my wife at the park. I ended up being escorted to an emergency room where I had a seizure because I stopped taking Klonopin, an anti-seizure and anxiety medication. When I was transferred to the psych hospital, these paranoid delusions kept persisting and I was convinced that she was coming back. After I had a confrontation with the nurse, I went back to my room and heard my friend come into the unit. I heard her getting mad at the nurses for mistreating me, and I could hear her having conversations with the staff. The staff complimented on how beautiful she was, and she talked about how she had went all this way just to be with me. Then I heard her say, as clear as day, "Let John come." It was honestly the most beautiful sound that I've ever heard, her coming back to me. But something told me in my gut, whether it be true or delusion, that I should not go out to see her. The voice ended up leaving, and I ended up discharging from the hospital. For the next year, I was hospitalized 15 separate times, trying to help me find medications that could manage my symptoms and help me sleep. I was on heavy sleeping medications like trazodone, Lunesta, and Ambien. I still could not fall asleep. I was still having minor hallucinations such as seeing a dim light when I lay down at night and occasional shadows. This all peaked in late August and early September when I went to a facility that provided benzodiazepines like Ativan as a way to help people sleep. Ativan is typically used in the psych hospital for anxiety, but I was given 2 milligrams every night to help me fall asleep. 2 milligrams of Ativan every night is a lot of benzodiazepines. And benzos should not be used as sleep aids because they are extremely addictive. I ended up having extremely bad insomnia from not having the Ativan when I discharged, and I couldn't sleep for 10 plus days. I then signed myself into another psychiatric hospital whenever I attempted suicide after I tried to overdose on sleeping meds and psychiatric meds just to fall asleep. While I was at the hospital, I was having active hallucinations that my friend was still going to come back and find me. I was seeing hallucinations of seeing the faces of friends on the staff members and seeing hallucinations of what looked like cloudy representations of gods and demons on the ceiling. I did not sleep the 2 nights I was there, believing that government vehicles were scouring my location to help me get back to my friend. Me seeing the lights of the government vehicles also happened whenever I heard my friend's voice at the end of 2024. The last night I was there, I couldn't sleep and was very agitated. I ended up having a verbal confrontation with the nurse and blasted through every magnetic door until the front door. When I opened the last door to the lobby, the nurse accidentally fell into my guard, and I put him instinctively into a headlock. But after the nurse exclaimed that he was submitting, I let go. The police arrived, and then I was escorted to the county jail. I was put into a padded cell for about 7 to 10 days. I don't exactly remember the time frame for which I was there. I was stripped of my clothing and had to eat and use the bathroom in the padded cell to keep myself from hurting myself or anyone else. During this time, my hallucinations peaked into what I call my official psychotic episode. I believed a lot of false things and experienced many hallucinations. For example, I believed that the officers were gassing me. I could smell a metallic and smoke-like gas trying to suffocate me, even though the officers were not doing that and were just trying to check in on me. I was not sleeping and would only fall asleep after exhaustion during that time. I saw writing on the walls, letters on the light fixtures, and curse marks crawling across my body. I also believed that I could project what I thought was real into reality. I believed that my friends had the ability to talk to me in my head. I believed that I would have a celebrity harem with famous actresses like Halle Berry, Jennifer Lawrence, and Kate Upton. I believed that one of my military friends was going to give me their inheritance so I could be a member of the US military. I believed that my padded cell was being depressurized and that I would be sent to space. And I believed I had the ability to physically combust to blast myself out of the padded room. I heard what sounded like demons constantly laughing at me, doors slamming that weren't there, and corrections officers and inmates incessantly mocking me. During my time in the padded cell, I began to sleep and get some of my bearings. I started to take my antipsychotic and slowly began to calm down from psychosis. I was then transferred to a psychiatric lockdown unit where I was stabilized. I was still having some psychotic behaviors and symptoms when I first moved into the lockdown unit, and did have some hallucinations and delusions, but I did stabilize. For the next 4 months, I was stabilized on an antidepressant, mood stabilizer, and antipsychotic. I was able to sleep at night for about 9 to 10 hours a night without any need for sleep medication or nightmare medication. I participated in a legal education and development program to help me in my goal of getting out of jail without being held under a hospital hold, and was released in January of this year. Even though my life experiences from 2024 until now were extremely mind-bending, harrowing, and difficult, I'm grateful that I finally got the help I needed after 15 years of dealing with mental illness. Talking to someone that has experienced psychosis can be unfamiliar and even scary, but I assure you that being non-judgmental and supportive while still asserting what is true in reality is the best way to support someone in psychosis. Help that person feel safe, grounded, and emotionally understood to help them during this difficult time. It was very difficult for me to film this video because I was afraid of what other people might think. I didn't want people to judge me over legitimate experiences that I've had simply because they think I'm crazy. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned a little bit more about what psychosis is. I enjoy making content on this channel, but I also like talking about things that I'm struggling with and dealing with, like in mental illness. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will be making more videos like this in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.